Doesn't see us.
Dhanyavad.
Krishna.
Hello, how are you all?
Good.
Nitai Gora Haribol, 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 Nitai Gora Haribol. Das Anu Das. That is my aspiration.
Uh-huh.
B.R. Madhusudan, rename, click. Yes, Ramananda Prabhu. Dandabat. Rasamoy Pandita Devarasi Dandabat.
Dandavat, Maharaj.
West London Temple Dandabat. East London Bhajan Kutia. Devashis Prabhu Dandabat. And Rupa Vilas Prabhu Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Far East London. And it's exactly noon.
We have another busy lunchtime, Maharaj. Dandavat, Maharaj.
Dandavat Sachi Devirasi. Guru Goranga. And Sri Hari Das Prabhu. Hare
Dandavat, Maharaj.
Dandavat. Anisha Nuga Devirasi, I saw for a second, or maybe
Dandavat.
2 seconds.
Maharaj.
Dandavat, Dandavat. Welcome on Sunday. We've all come to London, Sri Hari Prabhu. We're in London. 12 o'clock noon.
Thanks a lot. It's nice to be there.
And I was sitting beside you yesterday, but you didn't see me in Thailand.
You were invisible using the CDs.
I was invisible, but not a Siddhi.
Here in Brazil, it's 9 a.m. and it's very hot.
Whoa. Okay, well, here is mild, but it's not very hot. Hare Krishna. Heat, cold, happiness, distress, all these things we have to take in our stride. And our body is only made of earth. What about that? Hence, we are not our body. And just now I had here one very young, not a devotee, but yet to be devotee, maybe 2.5 years old. One of the devotees' children called Arjuna. And then being very much reminded about how, believe it or not, we were all young children one time. And how we've come into this world, we've come to see what does the world expect from us. We're learning it from our parents, from the kindergarten, from the junior school. We're learning what is expected of us. But by now, none of us are 2.5 years old. We're all at least 21 years old who are here. No one's over 30, I know, but everyone else is between 21 and 30, everybody who's here. So we are in what's meant to be our sensible stage of life. But actually, Gurudev said, once upon a time, Gurudev said that a boy is not a man until he is
50.
Well, he did say 50, I know, but he also said 40. I've been him when he said 40. Then when I heard he said 50, I was also a little surprised. But Gurudev can make it flexible. Yes, Shakira, welcome.
Dandavat pranams.
We've come to London. And we've come to the kitchen in London, it seems. With Krishna, Mohini, Didi, Saraswati, Devi, Dasi, somebody's hand suspected. Oh, a hand from here. Prabhu, remind me your name, please excuse. in the kitchen. Yes, Saraswati Didi, we can hear you. Prabhu, just remind me your name, please excuse. Gaura Narayan. Okay, Prabhu. Gaura Narayan, Prabhu, please excuse me. But also by hearing your name again, we can all be reintroduced to you. So happily, we're seeing your hands doing savor in the kitchen as well as your hearts. Jai. Dandavat, Saraswati Devadasi. Dandavat, Krishna Mohini Didi. You've all got your fancy hats on. All right. And Ananda Swarupini Didi has joined us. And she presumably is in East London, are you?
I've just left the mat, yeah.
You just
Walking
left
home.
the mat. Okay, okay.
Yeah, walking home. Yeah.
That's those new buildings, is it? Instead of the football stadium.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Been here for a while, yeah. Sorry.
As Gurudev would say, everything is a passing show. So even the is it the Wembley Stadium before? No.
No. West Ham football ground.
Okay. World famous for footballers. Oh, Brazil, yes. World famous West Ham United, maybe. Anyway, West Ham Football Club. Their football ground was right opposite the East London Temple. And so lots of congregational chanting, not quite of the holy name, but it was a very famous place. And then within a short time, they moved to a new football ground. The whole stadium was demolished and flats came there. You can't see it anymore. So there we are. The world is a passing show, is right in front of the devotees' eyes. All right, we're 5 minutes in, we're 6 minutes in. So whoever is here, and who may join, may join. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga. But this is, oh, West London. Oh, West and East. I put myself in the right. Gauranga Sundar, you, yes?
Guru Gauranga Sundar Radha Giridhari.
Radha Giridhari. And Radha Giridhari is the Giriraj Shila, which is there. Jai. And when you show the size of a deity, for those of you who don't know, you show like this, not like this. And we know this from Gurudev, because Gurudev correcting the devotees. Because you can't limit Krishna's size. So it's not, oh, Krishna, how big is the deity? You can't say he's this tall like this. You have to say he's this tall. From here outwards, he's infinite, but this is his, where he's chosen to show his form. So there's a little trick of Vaishnava etiquette. And those things of Vaishnava etiquette basically, oh yes, we can get it, suppose from the books, but really from the devotees. And of course, the books come from the devotees. Achao Nindita and Jaya Sheikha Prabhu joined us. I won't be able to help you with the Italian, I'm afraid, but I'm known for doing gestures, so I'm told, so I shall try to speak clearly and transmit something good. Jai Vijay Krishna Prabhu, victorious, ever victorious Krishna.
Dandavat Maharaj.
Prabhu, Dandavat Prabhu in East London too. So East London has come to West London. Actually, we're in London, but we're in the West London temple. Okay, we're a few minutes in, and our topic today was a good day. Is it a rainy day in London? No.
Yes, it is, yes.
Okay, Devashis Prabhu, you got a good topic then, because the topic is a rainy day is not a bad day. A bad day is when we cannot hear anything about Krishna. So let us start with, really with everything. That is, let us start with the glorification of Srila Gurudev and Guru Maharaj and our guardian family. Jai. Madhu Gopal Prabhu, welcome. Also Dandabat Prabhu. So first of all, Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. And Jai Shri Panchatattva ki Jai. Sad Goswami ki Jai. Tulsi Devi ki Jai. All auspicious things, the holy name of the Lord ki Jai.
Jai.
And the charger of chanting the holy name of the Lord means Sri Haridas Thakur ki Jai.
Jai.
Charger Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. And all the assembled devotees ki Jai. In Gurudev's good English. His pronunciation assembled, and Srila Prabhupada's pronunciation, which is universally practically adopted amongst the devotees, is devotee, not what would be English of devotee. But we've become very used to devotee, devotees of Krishna, devotees of Mahaprabhu. But that's Srila Prabhupada's pronunciation. And we all are used to this in the extended devotee worldwide family. And rarely we hear devotees actually pronouncing, according to the dictionary, devotee. Hare Krishna, Gaura Hari Prabhu, Krishna Lalana Devidasi, welcome.
Maharaj.
Danda, but you have a bit of a watery connection. It must be raining in Bath. Oh, you're in Bath. That's a good place to be when it rains. Raining in Bath too. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we're on the subject. At least we've started the subject. A rainy day. Let's see if we can make this subject turn into a devotional way. A rainy day is not a bad day. A bad day is when we cannot hear anything about Krishna. All right, and maybe, is there a microphone on somewhere? No? Okay, we're okay. Sometimes if the microphone's on, we're getting feedback or getting a circle. So, Devashis Prabhu, I did look, but didn't find the actual, like the talk when Gurudev, actually different times has said when he went with the disciples, and I don't know if it was, I don't know for 100% if it was Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, which I think it was, or possibly Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Maharaj. But he went when that day when it was a rainy day, and they went with, Gurudev was with some devotees, the disciples, and their guru, maybe it was Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj. I think.
Yes, I think so, Maharaj, yes.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that clarification. I looked it up and I couldn't find it, but it must be there somewhere. And anyway, they were going to some meeting where Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj was going to give the talk. And Gurudev is going, and he's with a couple of the brahmacharis, and then while walking there, which was all in the rain, etc., while walking there, Gurudev asked those brahmacharis, so you are good disciples of your spiritual master. What will he speak about today? What will be his topic? And the devotees, they said to Gurudev, who probably was Gorendu Brahmachari at that time, and they said to Gurudev, how can we know what our Gurudev is going to speak? He's independent, he can speak on whatever. And Gurudev looked at them and said, I know what he'll talk about today. And they said, how can you know? Not possible. Then kind of ridiculing Gurudev. Then they're going together and they're sitting together in the meeting. And then when Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj began his talk, then he began with a shloka, which I did find something along the lines of Tadinam Yodinam Manye Neha Chanyam Naradinam. That may not be exactly right, but it is a sloka which explains how a day may be externally very bad, but it is very good when we are in the association of devotees who are engaged in Hari Katha, talking about Krishna. So really, and we can all say as devotees that we have our experience. You can have a perfect day in the sense of picture, postcard, perfect day. But without devotees, it's hollow. But we can have the craziest day, and with devotees, then it is substantial. So there is the expression in India that Gurudev used, that morning shows the day. And this way Gurudev always stressing for everybody, get up in the morning and participate. Guru Maharaj stressing to everybody, get up in the morning and participate. I mean, and very much so. So morning shows the day, and the morning for the devotees is the morning of Sadhu Sangha, the morning of Hari Katha, Guru Katha, and Hari in particular. Hari means God. And in particular, Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga Katha, which is this age. This is Gauranga's age, the age of Gauranga. So a rainy day, a cold day, or as in Siberia, at our temple in Siberia, maybe it was 3 days ago, it was minus 44 degrees centigrade.
Wow.
So you can think that, I mean, that's pretty cold. But the devotees all like smiling and cheerful and chanting, and then you see, really, it can be minus 44 degrees. But the devotees, they are nourished through the association programs that they're having there, but nourished through the various Zoom broadcasts, etc., which are taking place, which they join in quite a lot, even though they don't know English very well. They join here and there. So we know that the association of devotees is indispensable. And hot, heat and cold, happiness, distress. Today it is very hot in Brazil, it's very cold in Tomsk, and it's raining in London. And here it's not hot or cold, it's just as it is. Almost, I'm even thinking almost like spring, but anyway, that's probably too early to say that because it has been cold. But the point is that it is not a matter of the weather, it's a matter of being with devotees. And how much Gurudev stressed that, the necessity to associate with the devotees. Always that he's giving this stress, and that's why he's established himself essentially through his instruction and guidance, so many centers, so many places for the devotees to come to. And this is continuing through generation now, after generation, the generations are all passing by quickly. So the activity that we do will be focused around the devotees, and what is the center of our activity is chanting and association, which means serving. So doing something for the devotees and with the devotees. So hence the morning program, some arati, some bhajan, some reading, some prasadam. The morning program to start our day, irrespective of what the weather is like outside. Ananda Swarupini Devidasi, please look for the mute button. And Praneshwari Devidasi joined us too. Dandabat. And this morning I heard Jayashree's class, by the way, very nice class, about Ekadashi, and then about Ekadashi and about something else I forgot now. I heard the whole class though.
The kidnapping of Rukmini.
All right, the kidnapping of Rukmini. That's so nicely spoken. All right, anyway, these are my few words to start up, but we're on Zoom and really we want you all to participate. And so here I am inviting first Devashis Prabhu, but please, any of you may think, Okay, Mahananda, the monster, is going to ask me to say something. So have something ready to say. You have something from your own life experience about hearing Hari Katha. It's, solving so many things in our life. But from Devashish Prabhu, let us hear Hari Katha and then see what things in our life get solved this morning, this noon in London.
Jai Maharaj, I don't know if it can actually be called Hari Katha, but still, we're thinking, that with the COVID pandemic all over the world, then everyone may be thinking that it is a very bad time. But actually, these things are like they're coming and going all the time. All of this, if it's not coronavirus, then it'll be something else, and if it's not something else, then it'll be another thing. So there's always some inauspiciousness in the material world by its very nature is like that. And I remember a few years ago when we were in Kiev going on the river in the boats that Avadut Maharaj had organized. He put me downstairs in one of the cabins, and I was posted to answer questions from the passengers. It was only our people, all of our devotees and friends and others who were attending that festival on the boat, and I was one of the people answering questions. Probably you yourself were in another part of the boat doing the same thing. Anyway, that one young lady, she asked me, why, when there are so many terrible things in the world, if God loves us, why doesn't he put them all right? Why doesn't he make the world beautiful and without any suffering? And I said, well, of course there are so many problems in the world, so many things. If we look at the world, we'll find, as the shloka says, it's an ocean of faults, and especially in this age, you'll be harder to find the good things. When you watch the news, if you ever watch the news on the television, they always have, let's say the news is 15 minutes. Of course, now they have news channels 24 hours a day, but 15 minutes news bulletin, and it's all bad news. It's all bad news. And then they try and fit in something a little bit uplifting at the end. It's like the policy, like a funny story or a happy story or something at the end, just to make us to give us some hope that everything isn't just doom and gloom. So that when we switch off the news, we don't go to our roof and throw ourselves off in despair. But that's the very nature of this material world. So in reply to this lady's question, I said, if the Lord thought it was necessary, he could fix everything in a moment and make this material world like Vaikuntha, without a doubt. But as we heard or we read from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, the reason there's so much trouble and so many calamities in the world is so that we can understand that this is not our home, that this world is not our home. And always, if we try to make some base here in the material world, we'll always be victims of some tragedy or another. All of our life is filled with tragedy. Everyone you love will die, and everyone you love will also suffer, and you may suffer because of their suffering. It's just the nature of this world. But that is to remind us that it's not our home, because as Srila Sridhar Maharaj often said, that we're all searching for home comfort, that place where everybody cares more about me than I care about myself. That everyone is looking out for your fortune. Everyone is looking out for your best prospect. And there, when you're at home, you don't have to worry where, you know, what kind of food you're going to eat today, where the food's coming from, or, you know, am I going to have somewhere that I don't have to sleep out in the street, in the elements, you know, suffering from so many things that when we are at home, everything is comfortable, or as Guru Maharaj says, home comfort. There's one famous self-help book, and I've not read the book, but the title of the book is "All Sickness is Homesickness." And really, when I read that, I thought, yes, that's so true. And this is what Guru Maharaj is explaining to us, that everything we suffer from here in the material world is for want of our home. So we should try to find our track back to home, back to God, back to Godhead. So that we found through the association of the sadhus, the saints, the scriptures, and the path, the clear path, is through dedicating ourselves to the service of the holy name of the Lord. No other kind of service, however well intentioned, will actually give us the fulfillment that we're searching for. You know, we can't water every single leaf and every single branch of the tree. You have to water the root of the tree. And I was just reading the other day, Guru Maharaj saying that the only duty of the disciple is to water the root of the tree, to give satisfaction to the center, the central figure, and that's Lord Krishna. And we satisfy Lord Krishna by satisfying his devotees. And what kind of wonderful gift have we been given in this world of suffering and inconvenience and calamity and inauspiciousness? We've been given the holy name of the Lord. The holy name of the Lord. If only we could realize what great wealth we've been given, and freely given. The only requirement is that we try to dedicate ourselves to the chanting of that holy name and to the awakening of our real self. The awakening of our real self, which is a devotee of Lord Krishna. So that's everyone. Sanatana Goswami asked Mahaprabhu famously, Ki ami, who am I, and why am I suffering in this material world? And Mahaprabhu's reply was, Jivara Shurupahoy Krishnara Nityadas. So this is not just you, Sanatan, but everyone, every living being is Nitya Krishna Das, the eternal servant of Krishna, the eternal slave, actually, of Krishna. And everybody wants that, because Krishna is love, beauty, harmony, sympathy, genuine affection is all to be found and embodied in Lord Krishna. So, you know, we know that there are so many songs where they say, let me be a slave to love. I am a slave to love. But what kind of love? To be a slave to divine love. And divine love means in connection with Lord Krishna, to find our soulmate. Everybody's searching for their soulmate, but actually the truth is there's only one soulmate, and that's Krishna, and he's the soulmate of all souls. He's the one person who will never disappoint us, the one person who will never reject us, the one person who will never say I'm too busy, the one person who will never say I'm not interested. Always there for us, because he is our home. We are to try and find our home in his service, in his shelter. Then we will be happy, and then we will see that nothing in this material world is bad. Actually, everything is good, because it is encouraging us to go towards Krishna, to search for Krishna, to pray to Krishna, to plead to Krishna, to want to try and give ourselves to Krishna. This is what we're all searching for. every one of us, either knowingly or unknowingly. And once we know that, once we open ourselves up to the prospect of that, then life must be wonderful. In spite of all the things that we may see in the external world, the rainy day in whatever form that may take, in spite of all that, we'll see that that's only a passing show. It's only on the surface. But underneath all of that, the soul is still hankering for its home. So Krishna consciousness is the path home. Krishna consciousness comes to give us relief from everything that we see in this material world, and not necessary to try and put everything else right. Because it is already right, because everything is under the control of Lord Krishna. Nothing, not even the blade of grass moves without his sanction. And also, Guru Maharaj will remind us that even the movement of a blade of grass has some purpose in Krishna's Leela. So everything, when it is connected with Krishna, becomes perfect. Good or bad, or rainy day, or calamitous day, whatever it may be, in connection with Krishna, it all becomes good. And that's our solace. That's our great fortune. And we've all been given that freely. Only we just have to try and take that a little bit seriously. So maybe now someone else can say something. We still have plenty of time. That's my little bit for today.
Okay, Devashis Prabhu, and lots of things there when you're speaking. We think, oh yes, we've got this. We can say something about like the expressions that they use for the titles of their books, for advertising, for selling nonsense things. They're using like sometimes very Vaishnava titles. And we know that Krishna Lalana is trying to bring some attention for like publicity. Some of these phrases that are used to show how these apply to Krishna consciousness, not to some handbag or not to some, something very trivial in this world. So yes, we are suffering from homesickness, and just read the book, The Loving Search for the Lost Servant. That'll help us understand what is healthy sickness, healthy homesickness. So Prabhu, Devashis, with your permission, I'd like to ask Rupa Vilas Prabhu, because he's in the Philippines where it's never winter. It's always a very good climate in the Philippines. And there in the Philippines, few devotees. But we know Guru Maharaj, he wants quality, not quantity. And you see, Rupa Vilas for many, many years devotee, even though he's only 50 years old. And a few days. Rupa Vilas, you need to unmute your microphone, and you may share anything you like to share with us on this theme or not. We'd like to be with a devotee of good standing.
First of all, I would like to offer my respectful obeisance to each and everyone, Devashis Prabhu, Maharaj, and to everyone else. But I would like to make a request, Can I pass the mic, please, to some other people, some other devotees? They're more qualified than me. You can get better stories from them, not from me. I'm just slowly. I have nothing to tell. That is the truth. Yeah.
Then Rupa Vilas, I can mention that by now in this world, I have traveled to many cities and many places. And really, Manila is perhaps one of the craziest places I've been to. And this is Manila in the Philippines, where Rupa Vilas lives. And the only sane part about Manila was the devotees. Really, when a city, at least at that time when I was there, it was quite or that area where we were, I'm not sure how you describe it, but it was a pretty crazy place. And being with the devotees was literally our shelter and a relief from all of the environment there in Manila. So Rupa Vilas Prabhu greatly appreciated, and the other devotees there who were all so kind, chanting the holy names, hearing about Krishna with devotees in any environment, then we are getting much relief. Jai Rupa Vilas Prabhu, your humility is brushing off on us all, on the others, but on me it's I wish I could get some of your humility. We need to get humility and all the qualities from the devotees. So even a few words
Well,
appreciated.
maybe I just can share something a little. What that's just I noticed, we are only few here in the Philippines, few devotees, and so it's hard for us to meet together. We are living far away from each other, so I tried my very best to hold this house as our temple. So at weekend on Sunday, we try to meet each other, but due to pandemic, it was like a disaster. So everyone has to stay in their house. But one thing I noticed is that it has also some goodness, this pandemic. It is like it just given a porthole. It has given us the chance to use this modern technology like the Zoom.
Yes.
So somehow, here I am, along with the other devotees, are using this opportunity to meet with you, to hear from you, and somehow we learned this the philosophy that we need, the guidance that we need every day. So we are not at all alone, and I could say that Krishna is so kind that he has given us all this opportunity, just like a play, and I'm trying to encourage others. You may see that I've invited so many to join us on Zoom, and then I want them to benefit from this meeting.
Jai.
Yeah, that's all.
Jai Rupa Vilas Prabhu. Yes, many thanks, Prabhu. Everything is heart to heart. We appreciate very much. Jai. And Sri Hari Prabhu. I know, okay, we're leaving London a little bit. Anyway, this was just now far east of London was Philippines, and geography, far southwest of London, southwest of London is Brazil. Sri Hari Prabhu, a word or two, share something with us, kindly.
Well, first of all, I like to say thank you very much for the words, Devashis Prabhu, Rupa Vilas Prabhu. I feel pretty much the same, like this Zoom thing with the pandemic going on, and how helpful coronavirus was to increase this association, through this technology thing. So we got these wonderful lectures by Srila Madhusudan Maharaj, which I'm almost never able to be live like today due to time zone or my yoga classes or anything like that. But I've been to so many Srila Goswami classes this past year that I believe the next time I felt so close, to Krishna consciousness was in 2012, when I had the chance to translate a lot of Bhakti Lalita classes when she was in Brazil. And I don't know if some of you remember him, but Sripad Bhakti Sampat Narayan Maharaj, the German one.
Yes.
He was a very dear friend of mine. I received an instruction by Srila Gurudev in which he said that I should try to keep close to Narayan Maharaj. He was my Shiksha Guru. So I had that relationship with him, and he was here in Brazil in 2012, and he spent a lot of time in my house, and it was a very inspired year, like waking up very early, and he was already singing in the kitchen and doing his crazy breakfast with carrots or beans or anything like that.
Yes, we're talking about the same person.
Yeah. And I think that was the last time that I felt so close to the devotees. And now, thanks to Zoom and coronavirus, and of course, above all, thanks to Srila Gurudev and Krishna, we are here and we have this opportunity to be together. And this topic of a rainy day is not a bad day reminded me of probably once in December or January, I was at the Krishna Shakti Ashram in Campos do Jordão, and here in the south section of Brazil, this summer is the rainy season. We have very hot days, and usually it rains in the afternoon or at night or something like that. And in Krishna Shakti Ashram, at that time, when it rained a lot, the roads were all like mud, and the cars couldn't get out of the ashram. And we were there, and Srila Trivikram Maharaj were there, Sripad Narayan Maharaj were there, and of course Rohini was, you know, telling everyone what to do all the time. And we were there, and it rained like a lot, so we couldn't go away. We had appointments back in São Paulo or anywhere like that, and we couldn't get away, and everyone was getting kind of stressed because it couldn't stop raining and we couldn't go away. And I remember that we were singing and taking prasadam, and we felt like that, well, maybe it would be a very good thing if it never stopped raining, and we would be here, you know. We didn't want to go back to São Paulo and to whatever city or whatever work we had to do to keep our position in this society, but we were there happy, like singing in the rain. So I'm very thankful for this, you know, all these opportunities that I had this past year, and I believe everyone around is very thankful as well. So thank you, Maharaj. And Dandavat to all the devotees. It's very nice to be with you guys.
Prabhu, beautiful. And really, we are always reminded that actually we can think even Gurudev's hand is behind Zoom. But Mahaprabhu, at least his hand is behind Zoom, we must say, because Krishna, he's come in order to distribute, you know, the greatest thing as far around to every town and village of the world. And you see Zoom and the Skype and all these other things where devotees are able to communicate. It's extraordinary that it's been able to happen. And it's happened at this very time when Srila Prabhupada had come to the West. And he's come to the West, he's given so much. Now that was all secured as the protector of devotion, guardian of devotion by Guru Maharaj, secured and developed, and the broadcasting went on without the internet, but with Gurudev, essentially from the first time. And then the internet started to kick in when Gurudev was traveling around the world, and then it became more of like a reality for people in more and more places. And now Gurudev disappeared, but this form of travel, of communication, of sharing their messages is right here with us. So we have to understand it is a function of the Lord himself. Man is but an instrument, and he can't do anything without the Lord's grace. So let the devotees use it nicely and use it properly. Hare Krishna. And I can read something if you like, because we've got these, I mean, we've got so much that's come from Gurudev and Guru Maharaj, and there's something we should never forget. So let us read this, because this is Guru Maharaj speaking. Okay, I'll start just here. I'll just keep a short reading, but we're here so that we can hear from Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, and to share as we are sharing. But this came in my mind. Here is Guru Maharaj speaking in loving search for the lost servant. Our minds cannot conceive of Krishna. He is transcendental and supramental, above the mental plane. His existence transcends all the knowledge in our possession. We cannot, okay, this is like a strong part from Guru Maharaj. And I know it because we read it this morning. So this is why it jumped out at me this morning. And I was thinking just now, this we can emphasize. Guru Maharaj saying, we cannot be the subject and make Krishna our object. He is the subject. He exists beyond both the Atma and Paramatma. He is the origin of everything. Now Guru Maharaj says, we should never forget that. We should always be mindful of the plane in which he, Krishna, exists. As finite souls, we are tatashta jivas, the marginal potency of the Lord. The tiny soul, or as Guru Maharaj would say, teeny soul, so but tiny. The tiny soul can think and know only those things which are more gross than himself. But in trying to know that which is more subtle than himself, he is helpless. A connection with that higher spiritual realm is only possible when the higher area wants to bring the lower up into that plane. Therefore, to understand him is possible only through surrender. So lots of things that we not to forget that we must be mindful of, and the only way is through surrender. Sevan mukhe hi jivado. And then, of course, the process of surrender to the devotees through the Vaishnavas, by serving to the Vaishnavas. Then we are going to have our tangible, real connection with the Lord. So the Hari Katha, the discussions about Krishna, inevitably come to the discussions about Mahaprabhu, his gift, his distribution, and the devotees of the Lord. So we are all aspiring to be devotees. We are all on the, what did we say the other day? What's the ship called that's got all the patients on that come in war? The patients get medicine ship, no? What's the name of that ship? Hospital ship. No. Yes? Nobody knows. It's a hospital ship. In the war, they have a hospital ship. And they're taking all the injured people, those who are sick, who are from the battlefield. So we are all patients on that hospital ship. And here we've got our opportunity. We've got our direction from the doctors. And this is why a good day is when we can hear about these things, to be reminded and continue happily. Hare Krishna. Madhu Gopal Prabhu, would you like to say a few words for us also kindly? I don't know, we can't see you, but maybe you're in a position where you can speak, or maybe you're at work, except it's Sunday. Oh no, it's not Sunday, it's Saturday. Okay, Prabhu, maybe...
Nanda Maharaj, Nanda Maharaj, Nanda
Dandavat Prabhu, Mis Reverencias.
Jai Maharaj.
Prabhu, would you
Mis
like to
Reverencias,
say
Maharaj.
a few words for the devotees and for me?
My Dandavat Maharaj for you, my reverence, and all devotees. I'm very happy with staying here, the devotees. Here is the in Tijuana is the morning. Here is the 4 a.m. the clock. And in morning, but yeah, it's the morning arti clock. Mongol arti or clock. Sorry, man, it's a joke. Yeah, Marcy, in this moment in the ashram, no program for the disbanded with Jai Balai Prabhu. No program in the ashram. Only there's mission, there's Bosca and Zoom, but maybe in other in weeks or maybe next month is the program saying an association in the ashram, no, in an ashram with Jai Balai and Jagannath Swami Prabhu and all devotees here in Tijuana.
All right. But still you're keeping in touch with each other. You're using Zoom, as we've heard. So everything is still successful. Whatever facility we have, when we know the devotees, then we can keep their association and serve as best we can. But good to hear. You see, 4 a.m. in Tijuana, and Madhu Gopal Prabhu joined us. So we appreciate that very much. Hare Krishna. And Praneshwari Devi Rasi, she's a good mother to the devotee. She's first of all mother of a devotee, but she's a good mother to all of the devotees. And so she can share a few words with us. Don't forget, we're in London, Praneshwari. We're not in Florida, we're in London. So speak with a good British accent so everybody can understand.
Obeisances to everyone, especially to you, Maharaj. I found on Revealed Truth something that is very, very beautiful. All Krishna conscious expressions have a very sweet nature. There is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam that starts with Ruchiram Navam Navam. Krishna consciousness is very tasteful, beautiful, and ecstatic. It can reveal new light and inspiration at every moment. As someone hears about Krishna consciousness, he will not be satisfied by hearing only a little bit of discussion. He will want to hear more and more. Tadeva Shashvam Manaso Mahotsavam. Krishna consciousness always gives everyone's heart the transcendental feeling of a great festival. Just as we always happily expect there will be many varieties of very palatable Mahaprasadam on a festival day. Krishna consciousness is like a generator. It may be a little difficult to start, but once it is going and giving power, it will run happily and give more and more light to everyone's heart. When Krishna consciousness once enters the heart and receives good nourishment there, it will sprout, grow happily, and become strong to bind an elephant. Hare Krishna.
So we want to hear more and more, never to be finished. Yeah, this is a really wonderful part. And sometimes sections like this, we feel we can say this every morning, like as part of the morning program. But then we start to think, what do we say every morning and every evening? It's very easy to recite verses or sing the songs. But here, for instance, to be mindful of what we're singing and what we're chanting is actually very good. And here we read the translation, Jayore, 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 Gaura Saraswati, the Gaura Saraswati song. We read that the other day. And Munindra, he's just sitting there, like shaking his head and shaking his head and saying, this is the best song ever. But yet we sing it very readily and just look on the board and sing the song. But it's very good for us to keep everything in our mind, not our mind, in our heart, actually. And what you just gave us is one of those things that we think, oh yes, we can sing this every day. Sing it every day means speaking it, but every word is a song when we're hearing Hare Katha. All right, and to others who are with us, let's give a chance for you on other weeks when we're together, let's each of us make some contribution. In Italian, can also contribute, and in Dutch, and in Spanish, and in what other language? Oh, Hindi. Vijay Krishna was here in Hindi. In Australian.
Bengali, Maharaj.
Huh?
Bengali.
Oh,
Hindi.
Bengali, Bangla. Acha. Very good. We had a Bengali question. Okay, I must remember, you know Bengali. We may consult you sometimes, Vijay Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Devashish Prabhu, a last word?
What can I say, Maharaj? Always a joy to be with you and with all the Vaishnavas.
And is West London about to have Harinam, about to have Sankirtan? I mean, Harinam or worship in the temple? Now it's 1 o'clock, right?
More or less, yeah.
Bhaja Bhakata Vatsala or any song? Anybody home? Is West London frozen?
No.
Oh, no, they moved.
RT has happened already.
Arti happened already. All right, then for today, with your permission, then we'll convene our meeting. That sounds much too formal. Today we shall chant the glories of Guru and Gauranga. Jai Sriman Mahaprabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Sapashad Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Sapashad Sriman Mahaprabhu ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvarajikacharya Astatara Satashi Shrimad Srila Wonderful Gurudev. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvarajikacharya Astatara Satashi Shrimad Srila Wonderful Srila Guru Maharaj Bhakti Rockok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
And Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki jai. Jai our dear Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Brinda ki jai.
Jai.
And all the extended family Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Ananta Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. All the London assembled from around the world Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. And Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo.
And Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai.
Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. And the Vaishnavas all came together in West London. Dandavat, Dandavat. So now you're going out distributing prasadam, is it? From West London?
We have volunteers coming to collect it. So everyone is gone now with all the prasad.
Okay.
70, how much? 80? 80.
80 plates.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. May the prasadam change the minds of the public so that they come to chant Hare Krishna, appreciate the devotees, which will brighten up the London sky. Even if it does rain every day, they can be with the devotees. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hare Krishna. And Dandavat Devashish Prabhu, all the Vaishnavas, one by one, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat.
Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo.
Hari Bo.
Jayananda Swarupini, showing your form briefly for a moment. All right. I leave you together.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Devashis Prabhu. Thank you very much. And
No, thank you all. Thank you all. Always happy.
Thank you all. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat to all.
Dandavat to tutti devoti. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat.